All right, so we can praise, esteem, knowledge, to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. They picked it up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, whom you will receive. How can you believe, receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Shalom, man. Proverbs 22 and 4. Then Psalm 45. And then after that, Genesis 15. I'm genuinely not concerned with anything about what you're discussing at this time. Proverbs 22 and 4. By humility and the fear of Yahuwah are riches, honor, and life. Now, of course, this is what we've been going through, along with this Psalm 45. So let's go on over here to Psalm 45 and 2. My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I've made touching the king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. You are fairer than the children of men. Grace is poured into your lips. Therefore, Elohim hath rebuked you forever. Gird your sword upon your thigh, O most mighty, with your esteem and with your majesty. And in your majesty, ride prosperously because of the truth, meekness and righteousness. And your right hand shall teach you terrible things. We talked about 3 people last night, so we have to discuss them before I go to something that came across my mind for a conversation earlier that ain't really had nothing to do with that conversation. Something just came to mind. Come over here to number 16. Let's look at going the way of Korah, because we mentioned that last night. Let's deal with that right now. Numbers chapter 16 and verse 1. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, the sons of Eli, and On, the son of Pelah, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the sons of Yasharal, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and unto them, and said unto them, Sir, if you're going to talk, you need to get up.
I'll give you an allergy. And put some brown cheddar on. You like, you know.
It says that they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, you take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation of Kadesh, every one of them, and Yahuwah is among them. Wherefore then lift up yourselves above the congregation of Yahuwah. See, Paul, come over here to John chapter 8, I believe. Might be 5, but let me check. Hey, don't come over here with that. Don't entertain him. If y'all gonna sit over here, then you're gonna conduct yourself like men. I don't speak. You're gonna pay attention, you're gonna sit down, and you're gonna be quiet. If y'all can't do that, y'all got to go. Come over here to John chapter 8 and verse 11.
No, chill. I'm gonna give you some food.
Excuse me, verse 12. John 8 and 12. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that follow me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The Pharisees therefore said unto them, you bear record of yourself, your record is not true. Yahushua answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. Shalom, man. For I know whence I came and where I go, yet you cannot tell whence I come and where I go. You judge after the flesh, I judge no man. Now, see, we're going to look at the parallel, how the parallel with Moses, because that's how Korah them felt. They felt like they were set apart and that you was with them and that Moses lifted up himself above the people. They also feel like Yahushua is lifting himself up above the people. See, you have to understand something. Of course, y'all know that from Exodus 4, which is something we need to finish, to be told. That you can never lift up yourselves above the people if Yahuwah sent you to do a task. You have a job to do. The only way you would lift yourself up above the people is if you sought to lord over Elohim's heritage, as Peter instructed men not to do. Hey, sit down and be quiet, son. Don't lay down, sit down. Turn around and sit properly, boy. If you're going to sit over here, you're going to conduct yourself like a man. You understand? See, when you sit in my midst, you're going to conduct yourself like a man. This ain't no play table. This ain't no looking table. This ain't none of that. You in my workspace, and you're going to respect it. That goes for you as well, sir. Do you understand? Very well. And it's also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. I am the one that bear witness of myself, and Abbas that sent me. I skipped over something. Verse 15, you judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and Abba that sent me. It is also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. I am one that bear witness of myself. Abba that sent me bear witness of me. They said unto me, where is your Abba? Yahushua answered, you neither know me nor my Abba. If you had known me, you should have known my Abba also. Now he's letting them know something because they're telling him he's bearing record of himself. His record's not true. Something else just came to mind. I believe it's Matthew chapter 21. Because I think what I wanted more specifically. Okay, so yeah, that's what I want. Matthew 21 and 23. And when he was coming to the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching. Hey, y'all gonna have to learn how to cooperate and read that book together. If y'all gonna read together, y'all got to cooperate. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to cooperate. I mean, y'all got to work together, not fight against one another. Well, then, Christian, if he's trying to help you, you got to let him help you. While you turning the pages, you got to work together. Can't fight against each other. 21 and 23. Matthew 21 and 23. And when he was coming to the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching and said, by what authority do you these things? And who gave you this authority? Yahushua answered and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I will likewise tell you by what authority I do these things. The immersion of John, whence was it? From Shamahim or of men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, if we shall say from Shamahim, he will say unto us, why did you not then believe him? But if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And they answered Yahushua and said, we cannot tell. And he said unto them, neither tell you by what authority I do these things. Now let's come over here to number 16, because at the end of the day, those people were questioning Moses' authority. Verse 4 of number 16. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. He spake unto Korah and all his company, saying, even tomorrow, Yahuwah will show who are his, and who is Kadash, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even he whom he have chosen, he will cause to come near unto him. Now, we talked about that a little bit when we were in that Matthew 22. Let's see what we need. When you look at come near, it is karab, which is to come near and to approach. You have kuf, rosh, and bat, and you can proceed. Kuf, rosh, and bat. This is to draw near, to approach, to bring near, to present. Moses is making the statement that even tomorrow that Yahuwah will show who are his, who is Kadash, and who he will cause to come near unto him. When they say who are his, it's simply Kadash. That's simply that is. Someone who is a saint, someone who is set apart, someone who is sacred. As the light of the sun Nah, I get me like this here, right? So who it is, just keep it as simple as this is the last son of Elohim. Because the first son of Elohim, if you go back and think about that first genealogy, everybody in it was shown that they belong to Elohim. Those who did not were not mentioned. Now you can come back and look at who is he going to cause to draw near unto him, or those who were sanctified by the last son of Elohim. Now, we saw about this before. It is not difficult to ascertain who was chosen and who was not. Of course, you know the word for chosen is bakar, and it's bat, kat, and raj. It's not that hard. Somebody is simply someone who's been separated by the son of Elohim. Well, how do you get separated by the son of Elohim? It is through faith, which goes back to what we're talking about, that through meekness, through truth, and through righteousness, that he teaches you to fear and honor your father. Now, knowing that this is the last son of Elohim, let's come over here to Psalm 65, hold number 16. We're going to do that, and then John chapter 6. I've been to get to Psalm 65 the other day. Psalm 65 and 1, if you would. Right. He said, praise wait for you, O Elohim and Zion. Unto you shall the vow be performed. So let's pause. What it now performed is shalom. Y'all do remember what shalom means, don't you? If you don't, you're going to have to look it up, because I'm not going to tell you. We done talked about shalom too many times for you not to know what that means all the time you're here. You asked me. Yes. Yes, I am. Covenant of peace. So look at what he say is coming, what is going to be performed. A vow is going to be performed of a covenant of peace. Where can you find a vow of a covenant of peace? And truth be told, we just read it the other day. Oh no. Oh no, that's not what we read over there. But he did make one with Abraham. But he did make one with Abraham. But Abraham did not make a vow to perform a covenant of peace. Which I did, and you would need to recall what we read in regards to that. You could say the new covenant at the Last Supper, but that covenant of peace was stated in Ezekiel 37. We read it up, that you have not been appointed to wrath. No, we gotta wait for a moment. You talking about Isaiah 28? It could have been. I know we read Ezekiel 37, so we done read a lot, so I wouldn't doubt it. Now think about that, right? He said, praise. I want you to look at weight, because weight is probably something different than you're going to be accustomed to. Wait here is damia, and that is still waiting, silence, quiet trust. Quiet trust. You have dalit, you have u, you have meme, you have yad, and you have hey. You have dalit, you have u, you have meme, you have yad, and you have hey. This is someone who's still waiting. Praise is still waiting, or there's a quiet trust for the individual who is praising for the vow that shall be performed. Keep in mind that, shalom, man, throughout this week, did we not just read how Yahushua kept quiet? So praise waited for him for the vow to be performed. So you need to keep that in mind as you're looking at this dalit, this ooh, this meme, this yod, and this hey. And the word is wait. Quiet trust is the definition of said word. I hear you. Well, let's go through it, right? Let's go through it like this here. Number one, could we look at the hay and say, behold, or can we just say the Lord himself? So we're just going to say the Lord himself. Now we're going to turn around. We're going to take that God and we're going to make that his word or his worship. Either one, don't make no difference. His word is his worship because it's his reference to his Father. So because of his reference to his Father, he allowed himself to be nailed, hung and nailed, and to shed his blood. And that's how the vow was performed. And that's why praise waited for him. Because, pause, come over here to John 17. John 17, son. You know what? Don't even give me John 17. Don't even give me John 17. Give me 12 and 23. John 12 and 23. Yahushua answered them, saying, the hour has come that the Son of Man should be esteemed. Truly, truly, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, and abide alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. He that love his life shall lose it. He that hate his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Abba honor. Now is my soul troubled. What shall I say? Abba, save me from this hour. With this cause came I unto this hour. Abba, esteem your name. So, Paul, so we can sit back and see this is where the worship come in. Because Yahushua worshiped his Father. He allowed himself to be hung and nailed and shed his blood. That's the only way that the Nadar Shalom, or the vow, was going to be performed. That's the only way that that votive offering was going to be able to manifest that covenant of peace. Because we know a covenant is of no effect as long as the testator is alive. This is again his right hand teaching you truth and righteousness simultaneously for you to honor your Father in heaven. This is also showing you that by meekness, also meekness as well as all three. Then he's also showing you that through the meekness and his honor of his father, that's how he's able to get the richest honor in life, which goes back to what we just looked at in that Psalm 65 in regards to, in the number 16 about the last Adam. Because you're sanctified by the last Adam. There is no salvation without sanctification through the second man. That's impossible. See, Korah and them were rising up because they were symbolic of the Pharisees rising up against Moses, speaking against the one who Yahuwah had sanctified. This is why Moses said, tomorrow he gonna show those who were his and whom he has chosen. So I told you before, it's not difficult. The man gonna show who belongs to him and who don't. It's not no Russian mystery. It's not Masterpiece Eater or anything of that nature. Because a lot of people like to tell you don't know who belongs to God. That is a lie.
That's not done.
That is a lie. That is not accurate. It's made manifest and it's plain. And y'all know that from 1 John chapter 3. It's not 1 John chapter 3, let it be known that it's manifested and plain. He said, he that is born of Elohim sin not. His seed remain in him. He that sin is of the devil. And this we know the sons of Elohim and the sons of the devil. So if you were son of Elohim, would that not mean that you were chosen? If you were son of the devil, would that not mean that you had not been chosen? But you were a vessel fitted for wrath. So there is no debate. There is no mistaking. That's sinner talk. You know what I'm saying? That's people who know that they're not on the right side of the ledger, who want to try to justify themselves. But we know what Yahushua said about those who justify themselves. They're an abomination before Elohim. He said, you are those that justify themselves, and that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination before Elohim. See, that's also another thing that people don't want to sit back and realize is it's an abomination before Elohim. Like I had that video I put in the chat earlier, like that dude had asked me to watch that months ago, and I just got around to do it when I was on the exercise bike. And he made something which I already told y'all. The book is called The Great Reset, and he referred to an actual book that is actually written by the World Economic Forum. It's called The Great Reset. Even without that information, all it was alluding to is what I had already told you before. The world is not going back to what it was 12 months ago. If you think that things are going to go back to what they were before the quote-unquote pandemic, you are lying to yourself. You might need to check yourself because you're living in a delusional world. Because it's not going back to be the same. And you all know it, but it's just hard to accept it because you want to believe that these people wouldn't do things like that or things are just going to go back to normal, and they're not. They're steady marching you down the road to prepare you to worship the devil. They're marching you down the road for you to agree to oppress yourself, but truth be told, they're just marching down the road of the will of Elohim he has already set. That these things are going to go exactly how he said they are going to go. And you have to wrap your mind around that, yes, the world is not going to be the same. Yes, you might have to have a vaccine passport to go back and forth, and you're going to have to make a choice if you don't want to take it. And ain't nobody saying you a sinner if you choose to take it. But you're just going to have to sit back and look at it. Stop lying to yourself if you think things just going to be ho-hum and all back to normal. Because clearly that means you don't believe the word. How is these things going to come to pass unless the world is made uncomfortable and put in a place where people will willfully and wantonly ask to be oppressed? Because at the end of the day, people are going to ask to be oppressed. But hey, you don't have to believe me, but you sure better believe you, though. Come back over here to John chapter 12, verse 28. Abba, esteem your name. Then came there a voice from Shamahim saying, I have both esteemed it and I will esteem it again. The people therefore that stood by and heard it said it thundered. Others said, and Malachim spake to him. Yahushua answered and said, this voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. And if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. Now, who are these men that he's going to draw? John chapter 6. Indeed. 6 and 60. Many therefore of his disciples, when they heard this saying, said, this is a hard saying, who can hear it? When Yahushua knew in himself, that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, do this offend you? What and if you shall see the Son of Man ascend up to where he was before? It is the Ruach that make alive. The flesh profit nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life. There are some of you that believe not. For Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not and who should betray him. Now, it doesn't explicitly state that with Moses, but you can clearly see that those people did not believe and who was coming to betray him. And he said, therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me except it was given unto him of my Abba. That's the only way it's going to happen. That's the only way that it's going to happen. You can't come to the Son of God unless the Father in heaven directs you to him. We ain't talking about keeping no Sabbath days. We ain't talking about not eating no pork chops and no feast days. We talking about direct you in the faith of the Son of Elohim, as the scripture has said. Only the Father in heaven can do that. He told you that in Matthew 11. Let's just look at it real quick, like. Matthew 11. You know what? In 25. At that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank you, O Abba, master of heaven and earth, because you have hid these things from the wise and prudent, and have revealed them unto babes. Even so, Abba, for it seemed good in your sight. All things are delivered unto me of my Abba, and no man knows the Son but Abba, neither any man. Abba save the Son, and to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. See, you can't know nothing in heaven unless the Father give it to you. You know what? Come to Psalms 8, where he mentioned in verse 25, for those of you who may not be aware. You can't know nothing in heaven unless it's given. And see, that is a harsh reality. A lot of people say that's people's cop-out. But I mean, it just is what it is. Psalms 8 and 1. It just is what it is. Oh, Yahuwah our Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth, who set your esteem above the heavens. What did we just read that at? Didn't he say, Abba, esteem your name and give me my esteem? Did we not just look at how he made the sun sit still in the midst of heaven? And he put his esteem above the heavens, because there's not a name in heaven and earth that's greater than the name of Yahushua, which the individual must be saved. If you don't know what excellent is, it's Adder, and that is a great one, a majestic one, a noble, things of that nature. Verse 2, he said, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings have you ordained strength because of your enemies, that you might steal the enemy and the avenger. I want you to remember enemy, but more importantly, I want you to remember avenger. Now, when you look at babes, I want you to look at that. That is Olal. That simply means a young boy, a child or a boy. That is Ayin, that is U, and that is Tulamads. So what do you have? You have that you know that the shepherd has experienced, disciplined, and secured life because of it. And they knew all this here because they knew a boy was going to be born who was going to be the shepherd that would bring forth that discipline to cause everyone to experience the sacrifice of life. He told you straight up and down, out of the mouth of young boys and sucklings, he ordained strength. You look at that sucklings, that's your not, that's someone who's being nursed. And just for your information, that is Yod, Noon, and Kuf. When we look at ordained strength, that is Yesod and Oz, which you shall all be familiar, and that ordained is to be found, to be fixed, or to be established. This is Psalm 8. He has established strength in young boys and sucklings, those who are on the teat, if you will, young men. And the example of that, just on the simple fact, is about he's ordained people in the temple, and they marveled and amazed at the answers that he gave. But let's continue. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of Adam that you visit him, which is what we read in Hebrews 2 the other day. For you made him a little Lord in the Malachim and crowned him with esteem and honor. You made him to have dominion over the work of your hands, and you put all things under his feet. And what did we just mention the other day? Until you make your enemies your footstool. Everything, and if something that's under your foot, what does that mean? It means you have rule over it. That's what that means when you say something is under your feet. You have rule, you have dominion over it. That's why I say the prince of this world has been judged and cast out, because he has rule and dominion over sin and death. All sheep and oxen, yea, the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever pass through the paths of the sea. O Yahuwah, our Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth. Look, he let that be known. Hey, why you peeking over here? No, you're going to have to listen, because I move swiftly. You're not going to be able to peek and look. I've told you this here. You're going to have to be swift on the draw. You're going to have to learn how to listen quick and move fast. Because as soon as you peek over here, it's going to be on another page, and you're going to be like this here. What happened? Which way did he go? So you got to move fast. You got to pay attention. That's what I'm really trying to say to you, son. You're going to have to focus. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Very well. Back to Psalm 65. $65 and 2. Oh, you that hear prayer, unto you shall all flesh come. You've seen that in John chapter 12 that he heard. Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, you shall purge them away. When you look at iniquities, it has the bar of on. So if it's saying the bar of on, what is it saying? That's a word, or that's your occupation, or your acts, or your matters at hand. So it say your acts of iniquity have prevailed against me, or iniquities have prevailed against me, or the act of iniquity, or the business of iniquity has gabar against him. We already know that it happened, because that happened with the scribes and the Pharisees. That is what is trying to be happening to Moses. Of course, you know that the purge them away is the kafar, and that's back to what we look at with his blood, his forth is waiting still. Verse 4, Baruch is the man whom you choose and cause to approach unto you, that he may dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, even your Kadash temple. By terrible things and righteousness will you answer us, O Elohim of our salvation, who are the confidence of all the ends of the earth, and of them that are far off upon the sea. Before we come up to verse 4 again, look at verse 5. So you look what he tell you. Through fear and righteousness will he answer you. So through him being able, for you to be able to reverence him in righteousness, that is how he is going to announce or answer or respond or testify, but most importantly, respond as a witness. So let's look at that. By terrible things and righteousness will you answer? Luke chapter 24. Luke 24 and 23. And when they found out his body, they came saying that they had seen a vision of Malachim, which said that he was alive. Certain of them which went with us to the sepulchre found it even so as the woman had said. But they saw him not. Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart, to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Mashiach to suffer these things to enter into his esteem? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded in them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. Of course, you know what happened after that. He sat down and meat with him, did he not? And then he gave him more word. What did the apostles say? Did not our heart burn within us as he opened up the script? But what else did he do in Luke 24 in regards to showing them terrible things in righteousness? Did he not appear unto them and say shalom unto them, and they were terrified as if they seen a spirit? What did he tell them to do? To handle him. Do you not see how fearful of a thing that is? What happened in John chapter 20 is forth his fearful things and righteousness that he showed unto them. Did he not appear to them again? Did he not breathe on them and say, receive the Ruach? Did he not tell Thomas to put his hand in his hands and in his side and be not faithless but believing? This is how in terribleness and righteousness he answered them or testified or bear witness. Because remember, John chapter 20 says what? They did not know the scripture said that he would resurrect from the dead. How many times did he tell them that he was going to resurrect from the dead? But nevertheless, they doubted it. But when he manifested himself out of that grave and showed forth the terribleness of righteousness before them, guess what they had to turn around and do? They learned to honor Elohim that day, and you get the threefold thing of the meekness, of Moth, and the Zadok, for him to teach you how to reverence and honor your father. Because soon as Thomas did it, what he said, my Lord and my Elohim. He learned some respect that day if he had never learned it before. Back to Psalm 65. And y'all got to relax. Notice what he said. This is the confidence of all the earth. Let's look at confidence. Of course, you should know that. That's mid-back. No, they're trying to help each other find the page, and they're getting frustrated, which that's not a big deal. They got to work together with that. But they got to learn how to not get frustrated because they can't keep up. But that's what their problem is. They're upset they can't keep up. So, of course, we're going back to verse 4, which is Ishar, Bakar, Karav, Shakan, Katsur, Saba, Tob, Bat, Hadash, and Hekyal. Now, y'all should know most of those, but to keep it simple, if you're blessed, of course, you know that's happiness or blessedness, and that's Aleph, Shan, and Raj. And that's simply being stated that you're paired to the son of Elohim. How more blessed could you be? But you're blessed because you're paired to the son of Elohim, because John chapter 10, this is why you paired to the son of Elohim. 10 and 25. And John. Yahushua answered them, I told you, and you believe not. The works that I do in my Abba's name, they bear witness to me. But you believe not because you're not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hands. My Abba, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Abba's hand. I, my Abba, are one. Do you notice that? He's talking about the ones whom he has caused to approach unto him. We're just going back to what we're talking about with Moses in number 16. See, we probably look at Cain tomorrow. And what's the other nigga? And Balaam on Friday. Excuse me, on Thursday. Also in Psalm 65, we talked about Karab. Don't need Shakan, that's to settle down as well. Come back to number 16. Number 16 and 8.
Why it's red is because that's what it does.
Moses said unto Korah, here I pray you, you sons of Levi. Seem but a small thing unto you, the Elohim has separated you from the congregation of Yasharal to bring you near to himself to do the service of the tabernacle of Yahuwah. and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them, and have brought you near to me, and all your brethren and sons of Levi with you, and you seek you the priesthood also, for which cause both you and your company are gathered together against Yahuwah. And what is Aaron and that you murmur against him? Notice who we say they're gathered together against. Who did Moses just say that Korah and gathered themselves together against? Against Yahuwah. No, he said, what is Aaron? Who is Aaron? And you murmuring against him. When you look at that, when he say he just has Aaron's name, and you say you murmur, that's loon, you want to come over here and grumble and complain. Because what are they grumbling and complaining about? They want to spy. But come over here to Acts chapter 5 in that regard, because what these men didn't realize is they were fighting against Elohim. Well, what's your problem, boy? Because you be over there capping. Ain't nothing tear coming out your eyes. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just want to do what you want to do. And you think somebody care, but don't nobody care. Yeah, you know that nobody care too. Acts 5 and 33. Yeah, I nothing. You know nobody care. You capping, boy. Now you want to talk. Yeah, because you know you full of crap, Dale. You know it too. You know you full of crap. And when they heard that, they went to their heart and took counsel to slay them. Then stood up there one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. He said unto them, you men of Yasharal, take heed to yourselves what you intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Theudius, boasting himself to be somebody, whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him was scattered and brought to naught. See, this is something that don't happen in these days and times, which might make people consider that all these dudes who stand up and boast themselves to be somebody, that Yahuwah don't slay these men and then scatter the people who follow them. You know what Yahuwah ends up doing? Ends up doing what's in Ezekiel chapter 14. That if you go after a false prophet, you're going to get the same reward that he get. See, I know some people be like, oh, that's a contradiction. He say the scribes and Pharisees sit at Moses. See, listen to them. No, he said a false prophet, somebody who stand up and boast themselves and say they get the vision of Yahuwah. He said, if you want to run behind them, that's your business, but you're going to hell with them. You're looking like you don't know what I'm talking about. So come over here to Ezekiel 14, because you're looking like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Me too.
Remember, what makes somebody a false prophet? Not just the fact that they may speak something and it doesn't come to pass, but they speak visions of their own heart. And they say, Yahuwah have said and Yahuwah has not spoken. That there's robbing Elohim of his words out the mouth of every people. Or as Paul put it, like we read the other day in Titus, that they teach things that they ought not, whose mouths must be stopped. Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 1. Then came certain of the elders of Yasharal unto me and sat before me. The word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up their idols in their heart and put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their faces, that I should be inquired at all by them. So he's saying, why would these individuals who have set up idols in their heart to cause them to stumble at sin have the utter audacity and nerve to come ask me about anything? Therefore speak unto them and say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, every man of the house of Yasharal that set up idols in his heart and put the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face and come to the prophet, I Yahuwah will answer him that come according to the multitude of his idols. So that man say every single solitary thing that you placed in your heart, that's what he going to answer you according to. Whatever you have reverenced. See, remember, right, it's a verse where it said that, boy, you kick me one more time, I'll punch you dead in your nose. Now, there's a verse where he said we bow the knee of our heart. See, some people have bowed the knee of their heart to idols. See, some people look at it, I'm not bowing down, worshiping no cross or doing that there, but you bow down to idols every day. Anything that you reverence and honor greater than Elohim is an idol in your heart. Anything you desire more than you desire Elohim is an idol in your heart. He said that I may take the house of Yasharal in their own heart, because they are estranged from me through their idols. Therefore, say unto the house of Yasharal, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, repent and turn yourselves from your idols, and turn away your faces from all your abominations. For every one of the house of Yasharal, or of the stranger that sojourn in Yasharal, would separate himself from me, and set up idols in his heart, and put the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and come to a prophet to inquire of me concerning me, I, Yahuwah, will answer him by myself. And I will set my face against that man, and I will make him a sign and a proverb, and I will cut him off from the midst of my people, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. And if the prophet be deceived when he spoken a thing, I, Yahuwah, have deceived that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand upon him, and will destroy him from the midst of my people, Yasharal, and they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seek unto him. A lot of dudes be talking about them brothers out there doing the work. We all Israel. Okay, play with it. Play with it. You use that nigga cop out if you want to, and you're gonna be burning in hell with it. Because that man said, if he deceived a man, if a man be deceived, you will say, I deceived him. And the punishment that he gonna get is gonna be the same as the individual who seek after him. See, that's hardcore right there. In the paint. Acts 5 again, yet again. We're in verse 37. After this, man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to nothing. But if it be of Elohim, you cannot overthrow it. Lest happily you be found even to fight against Elohim. That's what you see in the number 16, because that's what Korah then were doing. That's why you don't want to go in the way of Korah. We still got stuff to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't recall that. I almost forgot about that. Come on back over here to number 16. Verse 12.
And Numbers 2, that's why everybody that's on propaganda.
What?
Why everybody that's on propaganda.
Oh yeah, without question. You got to get what he get.
Just for listening to him.
Just listening. Not even just listening to him. You saw that. See, you couldn't seek after the scribes and Pharisees because they had a job.
Yeah.
No, I don't know nothing about that. He talking about people been going on about the prophecy of 3 days of darkness. These dudes just see stuff and just go to talking. He told you he'll make it go dark like it did in Egypt in the book of Revelation. But these boys ain't ready for that type of stuff, man. These boys be talking about they want all these signs and wonders. The man say he gonna work. These boys wicked as the day is long. These boys know they going straight to hell. They see this here, they gonna refuse the man's name. Shoot, they already refused. So they just gonna be going along with their regular scheduled program. But no, I ain't got a lot of brews on my page, man. I don't get jiggy with that. I don't really care to see nor hear a mass majority of their conversations. Verse 12. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. It's a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land that flowed with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness. It passed and it didn't happen. Well, you know, probably most of them had this said, man, if you know how many bad prophecies these boys done gave over the years, man. Them boys said the last blood moon they were going down. Niggas said Obama was the Antichrist. Niggas said Trump was the Antichrist. And God knows what else these cornball niggas be on. He says a small thing. He said, except, listen what he said. Is it a small thing that you brought us up out of the land that flow with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except you make yourself altogether a prince over us? Ain't that what he said? He said he was a king. But that's what them scribes was looking at. He trying to set himself up over us. Moses wasn't said this. He said, I got to deal with you niggas. Moreover, you brought us into a land, moreover, you have not brought us into a land that flow with milk and honey, or given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. See, cause the kingdom of Elohim to appear to us right now. We demanding it. Moses was very wroth and said unto Yahuwah, respect not you their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. Look what he said. You know what that is? Don't respect their offering. What y'all think that is? It's something in the New Testament too. Panah is the word for respect. That's to be turned back, to make clear, or to clear out of the way, or to turn. Pay, noon, and hay. What y'all think that is when he just asked them to respect not their offering? Well, that's akin to when Yahushua told his apostles, whoever sins you remit, they are remitted. And whoever sins you retain, they are retained. Because if he said don't respect their offering, that means he asking for him to reject them. And whatever sins they hold and to let them keep it. Moses said unto Korah, be you and all your company before Yahuwah, you, they, and Aaron tomorrow. And of course, you know, he told everybody to take their censer. And of course, y'all know what happened. They all got consumed in their sins. And he told everybody, don't you go around there touching nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in their sins. See, that also gives you another point of where he tell you to not fool with wicked people, because you can get caught up in their pocket. And you can perish right along with them. Which go back to what he was telling you about, hey, if you two on a rooftop, he'll take one and leave the other. See, we just were talking to Brandon about that earlier. He talking to one of his homeboys who hate Kevin Samuels and all this other type of stuff. But it wasn't about no Kevin Samuels. It wasn't even about Brandon. He just say point blank period, the nigga got evicted, and the mother of his child was upset with it because he got evicted. And you know that Brandon said that this cornball nigga said she knew I was broke when she met me. So she gonna have to take me like that. And to hear somebody tell you that you're gonna have to do better, he said a young man threatening with violence. See, this is what happens. The word is no different. See, we were telling him, what you fooling with him for? See, that goes under what my homeboy told me when we were kids. Don't hang around broke niggas, because if it's 5 broke niggas, you're going to be the 6th. You know what I'm saying? You can't hang around people who want some other type of time. You're going to be doing what they doing. And guess what that is? Evil communications corrupt good manners, be not deceived. See, everybody think, oh, that won't happen to me. But see, that be the cap, because you want to be over there with them. You want to be like that anyway. You don't want to separate yourself from those people. Because to separate yourself from wicked people means you're going to have to get out of a comfort zone. And to get out of the comfort zone, that means you're going to have to be challenged. And to be challenged means you're going to have to put in the work and do things that you either are not accustomed to doing or you don't want to do. But as we've been mentioned a couple weeks ago about being great, in order to be great, that means you have to have the discipline to do things that others will not do. See, if you just think you're great because you show up, you're sadly mistaken. Showing up is only a minuscule part of greatness. A minuscule part. Yahushua showed up, but if he didn't have the discipline to do the work, then how would he be great?
Judas showed up.
Huh?
Judas showed up.
Yeah, Judas showed up. Shoot, the whole nation of Yasharal showed up every Sabbath. You see what that got him? But see, you have to be willing to do the things that others will not. That's what separates the superstars from the mediocre. Matter of fact, let me tell you, that's what separates the superstars from the stars, and the stars from the mediocre, and the mediocre from the trash. See, the superstars or the great ones are willing to do the things that because you have people who have talent, but then you have individuals who are willing to do things to get the most out of their talent. Most people are not willing to do the things necessary and required to get the most out of what they say they want, which means you really didn't want it. Because if you wanted it, you'd work for it. Most people want someone to hand it to them. Amen. I feel you. Like, you have to understand that. Like, most people, you want somebody to give it to you. Or you entitled. You feel like you deserve it. You only deserve what you work for. You didn't put the work in for it. You didn't earn it. So why do you think you deserve it? See, most people in life don't respect nothing that they don't work for. See, if you don't put in the work of faith to actually to live the works of righteousness, then you don't deserve everlasting salvation, and you won't appreciate the goodness of Elohim because you feel like you owed it because you don't eat pork and keep Sabbath days. I don't wear no jewelry. You know what I'm saying? But you're not putting in the work. You don't do anything for anything to anyone to reward you. You feel like the bare minimum is sufficient enough to be acknowledged, and it's not. The bare minimum is your minimum requirements. You don't get applauded and patted on the back for doing what your job outlines for you to do. Why do you think he said, do you think that that a servant who serves everybody is going to be celebrated? He said, absolutely not. He said, who's greater? He that sit at meat or he that serve? He said, he that sit at meat. So how do you expect to be honored and esteemed and you're doing bare minimum requirements that your job requires? If your job requires that, you're not special. And I done told you this before. That's why most people in this world are messed up in the head, because you think that you're special for doing regular stuff. That doesn't make you special. If a man gets up and go to work every day and pays the bills, he's not special unless he's in an upper echelon of men, because that means you're doing something that everybody else is not doing. You're not special because you keep Sabbath days. You would be special as a man if your faith was so strong and so evident that individuals would have to acknowledge as the truth that Elohim is in you. That would make you special, because you wouldn't be like everybody else. See, we think we like everybody else. I keep Sabbath days. Ain't no pork on my fork. I don't eat no sea roaches. But you're malicious and you're spiteful. You're unbelieving and you're fearful. You're lustful. You have an evil eye and you blaspheme. You know what I'm saying? So how is that going to work? You're not special. You're just like everybody else. See, remember what we mentioned the other day in Acts 26. He said that they be sanctified by the faith that is in me. That's what makes an individual special. A woman is not special because she cooks and cleans. That is universal wife duties, whether you're in the word or not. That's not special. And the reason why it's not special, because whether you're married or not, whether a man's married or not, people do that every day. So there's nothing special about it. I did laundry today. So did 5 other million people do it. That doesn't make you special. But the reason why I mention that is because we've allowed people to believe that the mundane, that the monotonous activities of day-to-day life is special if you perform them, and that you should be celebrated and rewarded for doing the most basic of things. Why should you be celebrated and rewarded for keeping commandments that have been set, in fact, from the foundation of the world? You're not special, but you'll be special if you believe on the Son of Elohim, because many are called, but few are chosen. That means it's a selected group of individuals that would do that. That is what would make you special. And not just special, not necessarily special in the eyesight of man, but special in the eyesight of Elohim, because you believed and trusted on the witness and testimony that he gave. But see, that's another conversation for another day. Let's move over here to this Proverbs, though. I got something to share with you. Proverbs 22 and 13. It says, the slothful man say, there's a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. The slothful man. Slothful here is atzal. Atzal. It means sluggish. It means lazy. You have ayin, sad, and lamad. And you can go ahead. Ayin, sad, and lamad. Y'all got anything? Because we got to move kind of swift, because I'm up against it.
Experience well,
yeah, I guess, but when I put it on, and that's acceptable. What I have for you is that You know that Yahushua or the shepherd is the way. You know it, but you're lazy though. See, let me get you the English definitions for sluggish and slothful and lazy, if you will.
You ain't experiencing it because you're sloppy, but you know what you need.
You know it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know it.
I'll pray for that. Sit up there like a young man.
When you deal with sloth or slothful, that is an individual who is reluctant to work or to make an effort. So when we're looking at a slothful man, he doesn't even want to make the effort. See, one thing that any man can respect is that at least you put forth the effort. Most people in life, or most things, you don't even put forth the effort, and then you want somebody to feel sorry for you because you know what it is to be reluctant, don't you? Y'all know what reluctant means, do you not? You don't have to give me the strict definition, but you know what it means, right? That means I don't really have a desire to do this. I'm a reluctant participant. There's things you know you got to do, but you don't want to do them. You don't even want to put forth the effort. You don't have to look at that in a myriad of things in life. Now, how do you expect to produce results without effort? And you know the sad part is men are expected to put in effort and women are not. And the minute that a man demands that a woman put forth effort, he's a misogynist, he's an a-hole, and he's a woman hater and the most horrible person to walk the earth. Flip that around spiritually. The minute somebody who has the word of Elohim demands effort from the people, now nobody wants to listen to him anymore. Who he think he is. But see, that's your problem. See, your people ain't demand no effort from you. Your mammies, your daddies, and none of that. And the minute somebody can look you in your face and challenge you and force you to look in the mirror and demand effort from you, that make you uncomfortable. And you ought to be uncomfortable because you should be looking at how your people failed you by not causing you to have a desire to be better than a basic, lazy, sorry individual who feels like they're great because they're doing regular stuff. Same way the nigga like, oh, you own a business, bro. Nigga, that's nothing. Nigga, that's regular. People start businesses every day, D. Every single solitary day. It's nothing special about it. But do you notice how now in the time that we live in, everybody who started a business feel like they're supposed to be celebrated? Celebrated for what? All you're doing is something to take care of yourself. What are you being celebrated for? Why do so many people want to be celebrated? I can tell you why so many people want to be celebrated. You got low self-esteem and you're insecure. So you need validation and celebration from other people to prop yourself up for the weaknesses you have on the inside versus being man or woman enough to look yourself in the mirror and do the work necessary to be a whole individual where you wouldn't need nor desire validation from anyone other than Elohim. Except if you're married, then of course you would want validation from your husband, which is natural. But see, that's what that is. But see, that's an uncomfortable truth. Let's continue. What I said, sluggard, slothful. Let's look at a sluggard, a lazy person. Just a lazy. Matter of fact, it says habitually lazy. Now, you know what that means? That means you're chronically lazy. That means you run a pattern of it. And you know what lazy people like to do more than anything? Play. Lazy people like to play. I'm setting that up for a verse in a moment. And then lazy here is unwilling to work or use energy. So again, looking at the Atzal, this is someone, they know Yahusha is the shepherd, but they don't want to do the work. They know he's the way, but they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do it. Come over here to Luke 11 if you would. Matter of fact, hold on. Matthew 21. Oh no. Didn't go the way she planned it. 21 and 28. No, that's what you like. You like it sweet and salty. Yeah, you like to drink them beers. That's why you like it sweet and salty. Hungry? You ain't know that's why they put peanuts at the bar? Yeah, that's why I said that, because that's why they said peanuts at the bar. You know what I'm saying? If you're a little salty, you know, you're a little parched, you like this here, let me get another round. Barkeep. That's what the old white people say, barkeep. Matthew 21:28. But what think you? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go to work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But after he repented and went, and he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered, I go, sir, and went not. Whither the twain of them did the will of his father. They said unto him the first. Yahushua said unto them, truly I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of Elohim before you. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and you believed him not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him, and when you had seen it, repented not afterwards that you might believe him, because you were lazy. You didn't want to do the work.
Okay, well, if you do
Okay.
And that's why I don't want one of those beasts in my home. That right there.
I mean, you want to take it out. Yeah.
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care.
What if he was beside the bed? He was asleep.
Oh no, I done stepped in it. That nigga's dying tonight.
You heard this scenario. That's all I had to say. He bedside and you sleep. He's just like, damn, I try to wake him up. Boop, boop, boop. You wake up and hell no.
I'm telling you right now, that dog would get thrown right out like Jazz on Fresh Prince.
Or you sleep and you come in the kitchen and don't see that. Oh yeah, he had to get thrown off the balcony.
That nigga kicked out the house. That nigga will wake up one day. Where the dog at? Shoot, in heaven. He went to meet the Lord. Oh, his shoot. That dog going to hell. Straight to the grave. That's where he going. Cause I'll make sure I throw him in traffic.
Like the goose.
Straight up. Well, if I step in excrement in my home, that nigga die.
Barefoot?
Barefoot? Squishy? Dead. Dead. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say. Luke chapter 12, actually. 12 and 45. Well, you could get it at 40 through 42. And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Baruch is that servant whom his Lord, when he shall come, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he have. But and if that servant shall say in his heart, my Lord, delay his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants in the maize, and to eat and drink, and to be drunken, the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he look not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and cut him asunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. What does that sound like to you? A lazy person who knew that the shepherd was the way, but didn't want to do the work for whatever reason. For whatever reason. See, the reasons don't matter to me. Get up and do the work. Because what he told them, he said, he that put his hand, come on over here to Luke chapter 9. I ain't gonna tell you about it. I just let you see it for yourself. Looking back, oh, you lazy? You want to start working? You have not considered. Oh, you need a break, huh? I'm finna break y'all, right? I gotta go see about my people. I got you. I'm gonna keep y'all right. P, go see about them. Luke 9 and 57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow you whithersoever you go. Yahushua said unto them, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. He said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Yahushua said unto them, let the dead bury their dead, but go you and preach the reign of Elohim. Another also said, Lord, I will follow you, but first, let me first go bid them farewell, which are at my home, at my house. Yahushua said unto them, no. Man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the reign of Elohim. You can't be no lazy nigga. You can't be no Lot's wife.
No, don't kill your brother. Just sit right there.
So you have to understand something. In order to actually get the benefit of something, you have to be willing to put in the effort. Come over here one more point in John chapter 6. D-boy wasn't willing to put in the effort neither. 6 and 65 one more time. Remember, he had just went through talking to them people about how they need to eat his flesh and drink his blood. And how they said that was a hard saying. We talked about that earlier in the week.
Eli. No.
And he said, therefore, said I unto you, no man can come unto me except it were given unto him by Abba. And from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. They were not willing to do the word. Because they was going to have to live by him as he lived by the Father. And they were not. Remember what we could read in John 17, Abba, I finished the work which you gave me to do. They were not willing to do the work necessary. You have to be willing to do the work necessary, and they were not. That is an unfortunate set of circumstances. When we look at it right again, he says, right, the slothful man said, there's a lion without. Without is coots. That's outside in the street. That's cot, boo, and sod. So you know that there's a way that's been secure and separated, but you don't want to go out there in it. That should take you to Isaiah 35 when it says there's a highway there, and it shall be called what? The way of Kadash. But you don't want to go outside in it because you're lazy. Remember, that take you to don't go in the broad way, but go into the narrow way. See, you say it's a lion out there. Well, who is this lion? We could look at it twofold. We could see, because he tell you that Satan is a roaring lion. But also we know that Yahusha is the Lion of Judah, which we will conclude with that in a moment. Then he said, I shall be slain in the streets. Slain is ratzah. That is to murder, slay, kill, or act as an avenger. You remember that I asked you to remember about an avenger. You have Rosh, Sod, and Kot. For time purposes, that is Yahusha will separate the wicked to be slain. Yes, that is an individual making an excuse not to do the work. In Proverbs 22, because he says, it's a lion out there in the street. I'll be slain if I go out there. I can't go out there. I'll die if I go out there. But the thing is you already dead because you in your sins and trespasses. Now remember, right? What do you know about an avenger in the law? Because it said Yahusha will separate the wicked to be slain. Remember, what makes them wicked? Because they said I would go work in my Abba's vineyard, but then did not what? You did not go. You were reluctant, had no desire to go do the work. And see, going in the vineyard is not necessarily talking about preaching a word. You just didn't want to go out there. Remember what he said, right? That everybody who's of Elohim should maintain good works. And that the man of Elohim might be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto good works. You don't want to get a lazy bastard. Yes, the city of refuge. The city of refuge. See, if you go outside the city of refuge, what happened to you? The avenger of blood could come looking for you. Because you said, that's why they said, I can't go out there in the street. I'll be slain. You know why they'll be slain, if you recall, because we ain't talked about this in a long time, and we don't have time tonight. Because Paul is an example of somebody who was in the city of refuge. What got you to be able to go to the city of refuge? If you killed someone unknowingly. So Paul was killing people in Mashiach unknowingly. He told you that in his letter to Galatians, that he did it out, in Timothy, that he did it out of ignorance. See, you have a lot of people that slaying Yahusha and they sins out of ignorance. But the minute that they know, see, then he tell you, you got to go to the city of refuge. Now you know that you can't leave here until a couple things happen. So you know that you don't want to, there's a lion in this. If I go out there, I'm going to die. But the thing is, you're not going to die if you go out there in the street. Because Yahusha is not going to slay you, because he did not come as a lion. He came as a lamb. Which is what we started off when we came under Passover. He's the Lamb of Elohim to take away the sins of the world. But you say it's a lion in the street. You can't go out there. Now, we talked about that other night about him separating the wicked and slaying them. So we're not going to spend an inordinate amount of time on it right now, but we will later on. Now you have streets. The last thing that we want to discuss, and that is Rakov. And that is a broad, open place or plaza. And that's Rosh Cotton Pie. And that is simply that the son of Elohim will surround and destroy the wicked. And what is that broad place that they don't want to go? The Valley of Jehoshaphat, or in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon, where he will gather all these people up and slay them. They said that they were lazy and slothful because they did not want to do the work. We will end in Revelation chapter 6.
Well, you look offended. That's it.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm going to have to redo it now because of this. But yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, it was a whole shoot. There's niggas who've been long gone that were present for that. It's on tape somewhere, I think. 6 and 15, Revelation. If you don't know what the city of Refuge, I believe that Deuteronomy 19, you can go familiarize yourself with it. You'll see it again. Who? Oh, yeah, number 35. It's a dual one. Because you know, number 35, when they go to talk about murder, you ask for a murderer. Yes, you got your finger up. You think about something? A light bulb went off for you, baby. She want to wave us off. Oh, I guess when they came to ask you, did you want to come out the game or let the bullpen come in? You said, no, I'm good. I got 2 more innings. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't know what I was talking about. That's baseball. Yeah, that's baseball. When the starting pitcher got there, they come out there and talk to him. They hit the hand, and he like this here. He wave him off. Deuteronomy 19. Numbers. When I say Deuteronomy 19, I mean Deuteronomy 19 in its totality is talking about that. Numbers 35 in its totality is talking about that. It's not a verse on that. The whole chapter is dedicated to that particular matter. Yep, that particular matter. See, I said that came to mind when man was talking about his homeboy, and he like, oh, she knew I was broke. I said, oh, it's a lion in the street looking boy. 30-year-old nigga talking about you knew you was broke when you got it. Type of nigga you is, and you have the nerve and audacity to deposit your seed somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying? The nerve. Now we got another generation of niggas. I'm telling you, some boys out here, man. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Some niggas be talking about women shouldn't have no churn. Well, there's a lot of these niggas, boy. These niggas ought to have hysterectomy, whatever they call that chunk. Cut that nigga penis off, because that nigga ain't got no business driving no seat. But say either way it go, it ain't happening to me. I appreciate you though. You know what I'm saying? A vasectomy. I know my cousin husband got that done. Shoot, lying to me. That nigga been neutered. Ain't no knives coming near Johnson. That's just not. At the end of the day, it's the Yahuwah's will we don't have no children, because if you lying to me, if you take your uterus or your eggs out, that's not happening. I was a baby. I ain't know nothing about it. That's custom. Nigga, they had to hold this man's penis and open it up and cut the tube to allow the seed to come out. That boy testicles don't work no more. You can't reverse that.
Oh, who was the first volunteer for that?
Who was the first volunteer for that? Oh, that mercy. Revelation 6 and 15. And the kings of the earth and the great men, the rich men, the chief captains, the mighty men, every bondman, every free man hid themselves in the den and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sit on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? That's horrible. Hallelujah for Yahushua in the world. We got a lot of stuff to hit, but prayerfully, we got tomorrow, which is a regular scheduled programming. Thursday, Friday, which is regular scheduled programming, and Saturday. So we still got what? 1, 2, 3. What? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Still got 4 more. Still got 4 more. And of course, two of them are going to be extra longer than these. 2 hours plus, because those are Sabbath days. But I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I appreciate your time. Don't come over here in my camera, boy. That's what you came over here for. You didn't come over here to greet me, nor be concerned with nothing I had going on. You came over here to wave and put your face in the camera. What you could have done is said, may I wave in the camera? But no, don't come over here fake hugging me.
Faking.
I know you were going to tell me something as you were waving in my camera. Would you like to wave in the camera? Well, then you should have just asked that from the first. Now, shouldn't you, young lady? Proceed. Yeah, I've heard about that. Shalom, man. Praise Yahuwah indeed. But I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Yahuwah willing, we'll pick it up on tomorrow and make it do what it do. Oh, baby, that's over.